Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today's video as always is very special, and what we will do is this probably would be the most important video which I have uploaded on my channel regarding the Canadian life and the Canadian immigration process. I myself wanted this to be the very first video. I wanted to start my channel with this video, but for some reason we went into a lot of details, and today we will talk about the entire process step by step of PR by express entry program, and we will also talk about the timeline and the cost involved at every step. I will take you guys through my timeline in parallel, how it all began, and this I can talk for 5-6 hours. I will try to summarize it in maximum 30-40 minutes as much as I can, and this is literally what you give to consultants for $2,000 $3,000 to understand what is express entry, what is the procedure, and whether you are eligible or not. So this would be a one window or a one video solution to see the entire roadmap, and then you will be self-empowered to see whether you can go to Canada or not. So let us begin, and without wasting any time, let's move on to before naming the steps. First, I will only give you a brief introduction what express entry is. Okay, so quickly, what is express entry? Express entry is a program by which you can come to Canada and you can actually find immigration. Express entry, as the name itself suggests, express, it's fast. So you can literally get in a few months, like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or less than a year. In this program, they are only calling people who are qualified, skilled professionals. So they gauge people on their age, work experience, their qualification, and their ability to speak the language, which is the IELTS test. So your language, your qualification, your work experience, and your age is what is the founding principle or the gauge of this program. So this is express entry quickly, and there are many other programs which we can discuss in other videos. This is specifically for express entry, which is the Federal Skilled Worker Program, also known as FSWP. Now let me quickly begin. What is the first thing? Yeah, so I'm gonna write everything down so you guys can see in a manner. I don't know this much editing, so you can't have it on the video. So the first step is I've written for you guys, which is the ECA. Yeah? If you guys can see it, it's ECA. Now, what is ECA? Okay, now there is an argument for many people, for 90% of the people, IELTS is the first step and the second is ECA. So I'm going to tell you what I did. So for me, the first step was ECA. What is ECA? ECA is Educational Credential Assessment. There are 5-6 official authorities which do your current education evaluation as per the Canadian standards. So for example, my ECA told me that yes, what the MBA which you have done from Pakistan is also considered an MBA in Canada. So there are the most popular agencies. One is WES, which is WES, World Educational Services. The other one is IQAS, which is International Qualification Assessment Service. My ECA was done through ICAS, which is IQAS. It took me around 3 months, and this was back in the last quarter of 2017. This costed me, right now even the cost is, I think, is the same. So it costs you 275 Canadian dollars, and plus there's an additional cost to send couriers from your home country to Canada. So you can very well say that this will cost you 300 Canadian dollars. And it took me 2 to 3 months to get my ECA. Right now, if you will go for IQAS, it will take you around 6 months to take your ECA to be done, and the report, actually the hard copy, coming back to your home. So this is the first part, ECA. Now for everything there is a separate video if you want to do detail. So I've made 2-3 videos in which you can actually see the difference between WAS, ICAS, why I opted for ICAS, and if you want to go for ICAS or WAS, there's a complete 40 minutes, 50 minutes video how you can get your ECA done. Now moving on, the second step, which I'm also gonna write for you guys, is the IELTS. So the second thing is in our list is IELTS, which is the International English Language Testing System. Now, for many of the people, as I said, IELTS is the first step. For me, IELTS for the second step. ECA, the validity of ECA is 5 years. The validity of IELTS is 2 years. Yeah, this is a very important thing which will make you decide whether to do IELTS first or ECA first. For me, it was a no-brainer. I went for an ECA first because the eligibility or the validity of ECA was 5 years. So the second step is ECA, which I've told. I'm sorry. The second step for me is IELTS. Now in IELTS, there are two kinds of IELTS. One is academic and the other one is GT, general training. For immigration purpose, you need to give GT. So for IELTS, whenever I say IELTS, it is GT, which is general training. And when I was giving IELTS, so there was two organizations in my country which conducts the test for IELTS. One is the IDP, or also known as AEO, which is the Australian organization, and the second one is the BC, British Council. Right now, this will cost you around, this costed me back then around $250. Right now, it is also $250 it will cost you. And so it's general training. So you give the test, and after 14 days, you get the result. Now there are also two choices to make. So now there's a computer-based IELTS and a paper-based IELTS. When I gave in early 2018, so there was no computer-based launch in my home country. Right after a few months, it was launched. So IELTS, again, IELTS. So this again, you can see, if you guys can see. So ECA will cost you around $300. IELTS will cost you around $250. Yeah. So you need to. A lot of people will tell you that go for AEO, not for British Council. The AEO or the IDP is much more generous in giving you the score which you require, but I don't think there is any difference whatsoever. The only difference which I knew at that time when I gave was that British Council the AEO used to give the headphones for the listening, and there was no headphones for a British Council. But now I think they give headphones for both of them give the headphones. So first step ICA, ECA. Second is IELTS, which is GT. So again, now coming back to my timeline in parallel to. So I gave IELTS on 20th of Jan 2018. Yeah. And my score was 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, and 9. 9, I scored 9 out of 9 in listening. Rest all was 7.5. So 20th of Jan 2018 was done. Yeah. Okay. So moving on, and ECA was done in last quarter of 2017. So I think in December I had ECA. Right after I got my ECA, I gave the IELTS test. Okay, now the third thing is actually the thing which you make is the creation of your profile or the entering of your pool. You open the CIC website and you make your profile. So when you are making a profile, you cannot make a profile without having your IELTS result and your ECA in hand. So whenever you are making a profile, you need ECA and your IELTS scorecard. What happens is that profile making is now free of cost. Yeah, there is no cost of making the profile. So when you make the profile, you come into the pool, and there is one thing I would like you to guys to stop here and open the channel and go to the new video, which is another video, which is calculating your CRS score. So when you make profile, what you get is a CRS score. For example, when I made my profile, I had the score which was 451. Yeah. So you make your profile. What you need is your IELTS result, your ECA result, and your NOC. This is what you require. NOC is National Occupation Code. So they ask you what is your work experience, what have you done, are you a doctor, are you a sales manager, so on and so forth. I still remember my NOC code, I think was 0601, which was corporate sales manager. So you make the profile. This is the third step, and this is free of cost. Yeah. So again, to summarize, you guys can see, so ECA, then IELTS, and then making the profile. Excuse me. Now moving on, what happens after this? After this, when you make the profile, you come into a pool and you have made your profile. Now you wait. Now you wait. So the fourth step after this. Now the fourth step is getting your documents ready. This is not actually a step, but it has to be done. Yeah. So once you're done with your profile, so there's a time in between. Yeah. So this I would call the fourth thing, which is collecting or arranging your documents. Now what you need to do in the meanwhile, once you are done with your profile, you will wait for the ITA, which is the invitation to application. And in the meanwhile, the fourth step would be arranging your documents. Now you would require a last 6 month bank statement. You would require your medical test to be done, your marriage certificate, if you have a kid, the birth certificate, and the PCC, which is the police clearing certificate. Yeah. So in the meanwhile, the fourth step is collecting all these documents: the bank statements, the marriage certificates, the birth certificates, the police clearance certificates, and in my case, I also required to arrange a gift deed. So all these documents are to be gathered and to be made. So this is fourth step, which is document collection or arranging the documents. And now what is so this again a summary: ECA, IELTS, profile, and the fourth is documents. Now the fifth step is receiving your ITA. What is ITA? ITA is invitation to application. So you made your profile. Remember that profile brought you in a pool, and after the pool, once you come in the pool, almost after every 2 weeks, there is a draw. There's a draw which the Canadian government does, and they take people out from that pool. So for example, in my case, once I was done with my profile, my score was 451. Yeah. And then you wait for the draw. So in my case, when I made the profile, which was on 5th of February 2018, I received the IT on 7th of Feb. Right after 2 days, I actually got the ITA. Now ITA can come after. So I knew once my score was 451, the draw happened after 2 days, and in that draw, I think the cutoff was 444. 444 was the cutoff. So people who were above 444 or at 444 were selected, and they were sent the ITA. So the fifth thing is invitation to application, which you receive. Now what happens after ECA or ITA is you need to. Now I was given 90 days. When you receive ITA, you get 90 days. Nowadays you get 60 days. So in 60 days, you have to submit an application for the Canadian Immigration Express Entry program. So you have 60 days. Once you have received the ITA, you have 60 days to complete your application and submit it online. So everything is online. Yeah. So the sixth, I would come directly to the sixth step, which is the application or the document submission. So the first one was the ECA, second IELTS, third your profile making, Fourth is documents, arrangement of the documents or preparing the documents. Fifth is receiving the ITA. Sixth is actual application of the document submission. Now the sixth process, application document submission, will cost you $1,040 Canadian dollars for each person. So for example, for me, I submitted 1,040 for myself, 1,040 for my wife, and I think there was 150 for a dependent child. I had a daughter which she was less than 2 years old. So this is the official fees. Now 1,040 is also broken up in two parts. Yeah, so 550 and 440. Yeah, 550 and 490. I'm sorry. So this sums up to 1,040 total. So 550 is the processing fees, and 490 is basically the PR card processing fees. Yeah, your request for RPRF, it is known, which is the processing of the PR card. Yeah, so you can submit both of these costs in one go, or you can submit 550 and later 490. So this is what it will cost you. Now what will happen now, coming in parallel, let me show you my timeline too. So probably if you got 20th of Jan, I gave my 20th Jan 2018, I gave my IELTS. 5th of Feb, I made my profile. 7th of Feb 2018, I got my ITA. 6th of May 2018, I submitted my application and I got the AOR, which is the acknowledgement receipt that yes, your application have been submitted. So AOR. So 6th, 7th of Feb and 6th of May, this I still remember, this was actually the last day, the 90th day when I submitted my application. So from 7th Feb, from ITA to 6th of May was actually the 90th day. You guys don't do this before entering the pool or right after entering the pool. Get your documents ready. So as soon as you get ITA, you don't panic and you have everything ready in advance. Yeah. So what happens after this is you do nothing absolutely. Once your application is submitted, you are done with your sixth step. All you have to do is pray and wait. You cannot do anything. What you can do is you go every day and see the status of your profile, what stages it is going through, what it has passed. So you can just wait. So I waited from 6th of May till I think till 7th of November. Yeah, so this was my actual time. So my process was done in exactly 6 months. Yeah, from the ITA till the receiving of the golden email, which is the PPR, which is passport request. So the seventh step and the last step is getting your PPR email. PPR is passport request. Now what happens after once this email comes in, they congratulate you and they ask you to go to the VFS or the Canadian embassy, wherever they are telling you to go there and submit your passport, your pictures, and the email which you have received of PPR. So you go, you submit these three things. I submitted this on I think, yeah, on 20th of November 2018. I went to this office, VFS office. I gave them this golden email that I've been selected and I've been called to Canada, and gave them my passport and the pictures. After 7 days, they called me again that yes, come back and collect your passport. So it was stamped. I was given the visa. It's always a one-time visa. So you go and then you apply for the PR card once you land in Canada. So this is, I think, all about it. And again, for summary, I can give you this is my timeline, which you can see. IELTS 20th of Jan, and then the profile 5th of February 2018, then 7th of Feb ITA, 5th of November. This was the actual fees which I had to submit. The second part of the fees which I told you, which was $490, because I did not submit it the entire fees in the first go. 7th of November I got the PPR, which is the passport request. 20th of November I went to their office, submitted everything. 27th they called me back. So this is about it, and these are all the steps which are involved. So let's see, I hope this will be useful to you guys. So now before I end this video, I would like to tell you guys that, if you are liking this video, like it, subscribe it, share it. And there is a few more information, very important information, which I would like to pass on, is that, in my case, it is not mandatory for your spouse to also give IELTS. It all depends on your points. So in my case, only I was the one who gave the IELTS. My wife never got her ECA done and never appeared for the IELTS. So because with my score and my ECA, I got 451, which was enough at that point in time to get the ITA. So this is not mandatory. Yes, if they give, it can give you an increase in the point. And the other thing is, which I wanted to share, is that in a manner which you see this video, so you must stop first in the first few minutes and open another tab and calculate your CRS scores. Yeah, so you will know exactly what is your CRS score. Last 7-8 draws, I can tell you, the lowest it has been 457. So even before applying that, what is your score. This year it has been very high. Right now we are sitting in September 2019. Last draw I think happened on 4th of September, and the score was 463. And last 8 I know, 457, 459, 463. So it has been operating in late 450s and early 460s. I think the first draw of this year in back in Jan was 438, but right now 460s is the new normal. So you pause this video and go back to CRS, calculate your CRS. You can only calculate your real CRS once you know your actual IELTS result. But even before that, you can calculate a tentative CRS by putting some tentative value of IELTS. So this will also give you the real score which you require in IELTS to get the desired CRS score. There is a separate ICAS video of 45-50 minutes in which you just have to open that video and you would be done with your ECA. There's a separate video regarding IELTS, how I scored overall 8 bands in IELTS, which you can also refer back. And still, if there are any questions, do write me. I will try to reply as quickly as I can. And that's it from my side. Keep watching out the videos, and keep on praying. Take care of the people who take care of you, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Let's come to Canada, and I'll welcome everybody. Thank you so much.